Hello, my name is Brad Shive. I'm a cloud architect with EMC. I'm going to give you a demonstration today of the EMC hybrid cloud. This is an offering for our customers where we can come in and using the EMC and VMware stack of software products, we will create IT as a service model. In the first use case, I'm going to start out as a developer. I'm going to log in with my developer login, which will be end user. I'll put in the password. I'll log into VCAC as a developer. This will be what I see. In the main screen, you will see the service catalog. It's pretty robust. We'll scroll through that in a second. On the left-hand side of the left-hand pane, you will see several different organizational units that we could literally put these offerings into our containers of offerings. In this case, we're looking at all services. We will scroll through them. You'll see at the top we have Pivotal Cloud Foundry. I can literally procure resources out of the cloud, Pivotal's cloud. You could use that for Amazon as well. You'll see SharePoint, SQL Server, SAP, Oracle, Exchange, and yes, we can do Hadoop as a service as well. Pretty neat stuff. You can decouple Hadoop from the underlying hardware and really maximize the utilization of both space and processor. We'll scroll down through here. We're just trying to demonstrate how robust and how many offerings one could have. Literally sync and share as a service, Active Directory, Exchange, Oracle, and at the very bottom you'll see Windows 2008, Red Hat and Linux, and SUSE Linux. Those are just VMs that we can procure. If you click on the infrastructure container, you can see Windows 2008, Red Hat Linux, and SUSE Linux. These are all VMs that you could procure. In our case, we're going to procure a Windows 2008 machine. Simply select it, wait until completion. Here you will be getting a screen that describes the constraints of the as a service offering. So it's going to offer you the Windows 2008 virtual machine. You'll be able to choose between 1 and 4 CPUs. The amount of memory you will be able to provide to this machine will be between 4 and 16 gigs. You'll see 20 gigs of memory or of storage space. You'll see the rough cost. The lease is not termed, so you will be able to have this VM forever, and the lease cost is not applicable at this point. Those are simply things you can fill in. We're going to go and request this. In this particular case, we're going to change the CPUs. We're also going to do a backup for daily, and the retention will be for 1 year. We will also go to the storage tab, and within the storage tab, we are going to change the tier of service to a production tier, tier 1. We will submit that. In the background now, those scripts or those workflows are running, and if you are looking at Virtual Center in the logs, you would literally begin to see the actions take place. Now we're going to go up and we've built a machine, so now I'm going to show you how to modify existing machines. And if you look in the upper right hand corner, I can either do a search, I can do an owned by. In this case, owned by me has only one VM that exists. I'm going to go grab that machine. I'm going to get the backup status. We'll submit that. I'll receive an email that gives me the backup status. So I'm going to close that now. I'm going to do a restore of this machine. Again, the power here that I really want you to see is that we're doing this all from a single pane of glass. We're using a bunch of different technologies, but the workflow and the operation is very similar, if not the same, between certain products. So here's the description. We're going to restore a VM from a previous backup. We'll choose the restore, and in the drop-down box we'll get a restore. We'll go to submit it. Now we'll do, if you look at under status, you'll have name, description, owner, cost to date, and then status. If you look under status, you'll see restoring. It will be restoring that VM. We are going to refresh the data, and it is now changed to on, meaning it was restored. If it needed to reboot or whatever, it is now booted up. In this case, it's on. We're going to check the description. We're going to do an on-demand backup to demonstrate that for you as well. Here we go. We'll call this backup my machine and we'll submit it. And it's as simple as that. Again, you'll see the status is on while it backed up, and now we are going to go and edit this. Now think if you had to edit a number of machines and how simple this would be. You're going to select edit. You're going to go over and you're going to change. You're going to double the number of CPUs and double the number of the amount of RAM, and we will submit that. Again, you'll see it reconfigure. If it needs to reboot, it will, and the final status would be on. And now we're going to go back to the catalog. For fun, we're going to show you how to create an Oracle machine in Boston, and then we'll create its redundant one in New York in a second. Provision Oracle to Boston. Fill out the password, the name, sys password. Say OK. We'll now put a second one up for redundancy in New York. Give it a description. In the properties, we'll give them the system password, the service name, and the sys password. Say OK. And those would be spinning up as we speak. Now I'm going to log out and I'm going to log back in as, let's say, a storage admin. And we'll call him IT admin. And the storage guy, I'm now going to log in. And you can see it's a different service catalog. I came up in the default storage services container, and you can see my two options here: provision cloud storage and create a backup service. Now this is not, neither of these are affecting the VM. These are storage admin type actions. So we're going to provision cloud storage. You can see the blueprint that's available. We're going to request that blueprint. We're going to describe it. We're going to add capacity to the cloud infrastructure. Here's the business groups manufacturing. We're going to pick a tier 1 storage. The data store name we're going to name tier 1 data store 7. We're going to give it a particular capacity. We're going to save it. Now in the background you would see these things being created in the logs of Viper. Now we're going to go do create a backup service, something we could call from the VM blueprints. We're going to go down and we're going to request this. We're going to give it a description of gold. We're going to create a service tier. In the backup service level, we're going to name it gold again. This is going to be daily. It's going to be around at 10 o'clock. And we're going to do this every 2 periods, and we're going to save it for years. And there's, we say OK. Here is the special sauce. Coolest stuff since sliced bread. You can see one of the problems that most of our operations folks have had is determining their costs. Well, what if something automated that for you? Check this out. After, well, number one, you need to know that it is populated originally with industry averages. So day one, you have some idea of costs. Obviously, you want to tweak this to your environment, but to have something day one is a pretty powerful message. So in the business management tab, you can look and see your total cloud cost, your operational analysis, and demand. So your overall cost would be $66,000 per month in this example. The average of VM would cost you roughly $56 per month, and we have 198 VMs running. I'm going to show you cloud cost. This just breaks it down to components, literally from licensing and labor. It's going to point that out that we can also expand that and get further details. We're going to go up to operational analysis, and in here this is pretty nice because you can see a trend line. In our example here, there's no real trend line because it's a lab, it's pretty flat. But if you wanted, that spark line would demonstrate either growth or static environment. And in this case, it's static. And a demand analysis, this is telling us what's our current demand, and in this case, it's 190 live VMs. We're also going to show you some reports that you can generate, either with servers, data stores, VMs. This is a nice one, right? You can see what's been configured, and you can run that custom report. You can check out your clusters. You'll be able to see how many servers are in each cluster. And here is the special sauce, the panacea, the cloud comparison. Checkity check this out, right? You've got your private cloud, always going to be less expensive. DIY is always less expensive than outsourcing. And then it compares that to Amazon and Azure. For legal reasons right now, those are set numbers. But we literally can turn on a polling situation in the product. And if we get those legal matters resolved, we will pull Amazon for current prices and Windows Azure for current prices. What a fantastic tool here to give your executive and your management teams the ability to make their decision points from a very educated standpoint. They can literally decide when something financially makes more sense to spin up elsewhere versus spinning it up in-house. I think that's super magical. That's it. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate you giving me the ability and paying attention to this demo.